Shops.
Oh, come on, Bob, you're not talking about shops, you own one now.
Yeah, now I'm a shop owner, I've got a different view. See, what really aggravates me is you'll get mothers coming in, right, with little kids, and the kids will grab every, sort of packet, scrunch it up and carry on.
Yeah, but what about you'd like that? Because if you're broke, you're paid for it.
No, you try and get the money, son. Anyway, bottom line is, it comes in, the mother says, no, you're not having that. Oh, you're not having it. I've told you, I'll get your father on to you later on tonight, you're not having it, right? 2 seconds later, all right, and I suppose you better get 2 and that'll keep you happy this afternoon. Bloody no hope whatsoever.
I don't know about you, Mick, but people in the retail trade are getting thicker, aren't they?
Well, the training's just not there, is it?
Not there at all. How many times you go in somewhere for a coffee, you ask for it extra hot, you shouldn't even have to ask, but you go in there for a coffee, what does it come up? Luke fucking warm. It don't matter where you go, it's Luke fucking warm.
Every time, and if I forget to ask for it, I have to drink a lukewarm cup of coffee. I suppose I could take it back, but...
it's a joke.
It is,
It's a joke.
The thing about the day, Bob, before, you used to go to a shop and say, can I have a coffee? And they'd say, well, you want it white or black, and how many sugars you want, and out the door you went. That was it. No, you've seen it today. It's this, and it's soy, and it's...
Oh, well, mate, that leads into a beauty, because they'll come in and they'll say to you, coffee, mate? And I'll say, yeah, mate, how do you like it? And I said, just white. What, you want white or milk, or you want flat white with a bit of milk on top? Yeah. What, which one? What did you say? And you'll repeat it again. Full milk. Yeah, the full milk, mate. Right, good. Sugar? Yeah, mate, yeah. He wanders off. How many sugars, mate? 8? Oh, 2, yeah, 2 will be right. A bit less than 2, because you've got a dispenser, that makes it hard. Anyway, then, of course, the piece of the resistance, you say, would you like a bit of cold in it? I go, cold what? Cold milk, some people like it really hot, others like it sort of warm. And eventually, of course, you get an answer. By this time, you're bloody exasperated, you're knocked out, it's not worth bloody $3 for a coffee, fair dinkum.
You've been in shops and places like that where you've just had aggravation after aggravation. People don't keep any stock anymore.
No. If it's not on the shelf, they ain't got it.
No.
That's right.
I find it bizarre.
Yeah, it's a problem in Tasmania anyway, the availability of products, but it's getting better. Yeah. But it's a lot worse than the mainland, isn't it?
We can order it for you.
Yeah.
Take 4 weeks, Fucking get it off the net. I mean, get it off the net in 2 days, but no, they can order it in 4 weeks. Try. I don't know. You've worked in shops, Mick?
Yes, and I have to admit, if you work in a shop or do any service for the public, it doesn't take long to build up a pretty healthy dislike for the public, because they are rude, abusive, aggressive, talking in a condescending manner. So when I go in a shop, I always make a point of being polite. And I certainly don't talk in a condescending manner. I've always tried to do that.
Has it got you anywhere though?
No, fuck it, it's done me no fucking good at all. I'll get the same aggravation as everybody else.
But I'll tell you something from the other side, right? Because I'm on the other side of the shop counter out Kempton Way. I get a guy comes in the other day. Now it's lunchtime, right? And he walks in.
Your busiest time?
Oh yeah, 2 or 3 people there any one time. But they come in, this guy comes in, and he says, pie? And I go, sorry? He said, pies. Are they hot? And I thought, you bloody... Anyway, I said, no, I keep them in sub-zero temperatures, mate, to stop the bacteria, because they're hot. Stick your bloody head in it.
But women have got a lot to answer for, especially in supermarkets. How many times, well, you tell the story, man, how many times you stood behind women in the supermarkets, they do the same thing every time, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. They wait right until they're presented with the bill, then they start looking for their purse in their handbag, which is always right at the bottom. They can't find it, and then they have to find which credit card they're going to use.
Yeah.
And then it takes ages to get past the counter. It's ridiculous how long they take. And there's so many women do it. Why can't they have the credit card or cash, however they're paying, ready for when the bill's done?
Yeah. And then what do they do once it's all been settled? Can I take $10 out on FPOS?
Yeah.
I only want to go in this shop. I just want to go in this shop, buy something, give them the money and walk out the door. You can't do it these days.
No, you can't.
It's impossible.
Women, older women, not grumpy old women, but older women, seem to take great delight in getting the exact change. They've got 500 people behind them in the 15 items or less, and the bitches have had bloody 20 items, because I count them now. Okay, and they take, it's $85.17. They get $85 out, and then they get 17 cents out, and they count it out. They count every last bit out. And then they turn back at the people behind them and say, oh no, great, I can still count. I'm not fucked in the head.
My favourite thing about supermarket lanes is when you get to a sign that says limited to 8 items only, and there's a guy there with one of these barrows, and he's got about 47 different things in, and the sign also says no trolleys. You can't win.
I was at my local supermarket the other day, wanted the quick lunch, you know, banana, carton of flavoured milk. So you go to the express lane, and this crusty old Sheila with a shopping basket full of dog food pushed in front of me. They had dog food on special for $1.02 a can. I mean, where did they come up with that, for heaven's sake? She had 40 cans, although the sign said 10 items or less, she had 40 cans of dog food, $1.02. Then she said to the girl behind the checkout, put them through individually because she got to round it down to 2 cents. So she ended up getting 40 cans of dog food at $1 a can. Each of them bloody scanned individually, so she could only pay $1 and not $1.02. Then, and don't get this, I've got about 3 minutes for lunch, so I'm there with my banana, my flavoured milk, I'm really in a hurry. She pays $44 with coins. Mostly 10s, 20s and 5 cent pieces. Took us 10 minutes. So as I'm the next one up into the line, I go up to the checkout, she's there gathering up her dog food. I said, have a good lunch, bitch.
Been into the latest supermarkets, have you?
What? What do you mean?
Oh, you know, the latest Woolworths and Coles supermarkets.
Yeah.
Fresh food people, got all this sort of stuff. Have 28 checkouts. How come they have 28 checkouts and have 3 people working?
Yeah, I know.
Why would you build 28 supermarket checkouts to begin with? Why don't they just build 5 and then have people there all the time? Why build 28? Is it to give us a false sense of, you know, hope that we might actually get into the supermarket and out within an hour?
Yeah, sounds like it. You know, you look at supermarkets, you look at going into a store somewhere, you complain about young people not concentrating, that sort of thing.
What the 12-year-olds they employ now in all these shops?
Well, it's like if you give them $5.50 and you give them, the price of the object is $3.50 and you give them $5.50, they go, what's the extra 50 cents for? You go, $2, darling, give me $2 back.
What about the queuing you have to do though, Keith?
Oh. Done it? Hey? Come on. Everywhere you go, you're queuing up. You can't, people, they can't take the money fast enough. You know.
But they're not taking money, are
Well,
they?
no, they're not.
You get people
True.
paying for the most menial things with a credit card. How long's that take?
Yeah. I've seen somebody buy chewing gum with a credit card. Mostly youngsters, I've got to admit, but they must live on their credit cards nowadays. Every time you go out to buy a cup of coffee, if you can get a cup of coffee for all that fannying about they do with coffee these days.
Hot cup of coffee and all.
Yeah, hot cup of coffee, yeah. For all the fanning about they're doing, you stand behind 3 people and they're all paying with a credit card for a cup of coffee. I find it bizarre, Mick.
Yes, I do.
I find it absolutely bizarre.
I mean, what's a cup of coffee? $3.50?
Yeah.
I mean, you should have that money in your pocket. You shouldn't leave home in the morning without a little bit of money in your pocket, should you?
Well, how people pay for car parks, I expect they must do that on here, eh?
Yeah.
Now, as you may or may not know, despite popular opinion, I do not drink anymore, do I, Keith? Thank you very much for that nod. Thank you, linesman. Thank you, boys. So, for the last 7 years, all I've drunk is Diet Coke. So, what do they do to get me back? Talk about catch 44, don't worry about 22. I get my arbitrary industrial-sized buckets of Diet Coke in a pint glass. I say, can I have a triple Diet Coke in a pint glass, please? Easy on the ice. How much did the bastards charge me? At Great Squires in Cargo? $5.50, I shit you not.
What about the time when I went in to buy some shoes? This is only recently, just after Christmas. I said, I'd like to try a pair of those shoes on, please, size 9. The bloke comes back with the box. Shoes in a box, saying, I've got a size 7. What? A size? Come on! Let's get it right here.
Yeah, I know.
I bought a shirt not so long ago at a sale at a local departmental store. Got it home and noticed the stitching wasn't done properly. In fact, it had missed altogether. So I took it back as you do, for a refund. And the manager said, and I quote, "It was not possible at this juncture to facilitate a reimbursement because it was a sale item, and apparently that was part of their policy." And I said, "What, you mean you won't give me a refund? Or you're refusing to give me a refund?" He said, "I wouldn't put it so bluntly." I said, "Well, you bloody well ought to." This Sheila, you know, she won't buy her clothes locally. She has to go interstate. I've got to go to Sydney or maybe Melbourne, darling, to get my clothes. Or preferably, of course, Singers or London or Paris. Wouldn't be seen dead in Myer or Target or heaven help us Best and Less. But I reckon, mate, no matter what the coat's made out of, doesn't matter where the lamb's wool comes from, it's still dressing up mutton. She's a haggard old two-tooth that you wouldn't get $10 for at the Bothwell sale. Actually, this same bird, she turned up the other day. She's all Yves Saint Laurent, or who else is there? There's bloody Christian Dior or Versace or whatever they're called. She turned up the other day and she had a Prada handbag, and she's prancing around with her Prada handbag. I said, "Prada? Yeah, I know Prada. That's the Spanish word for steaming hot turd, isn't it?" She hasn't worn that handbag since.
How about the packaging?
Yeah. What, trying to get it open, you mean?
Yeah.
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 What about biscuits?
Biscuits, sweets. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter what it is. I went down and bought a pair of scissors from one of, like from the local hardware shop. When I come home, I had to get a pair of scissors to open the packet of pair of scissors.
Now, my chemist, I went there the other day to get what you usually get, medicine. What's he got on his counter? He's got fucking licorice, and all I wanted was tablets. So what do I do now? I go to Darryl Lee's to get a packet of Aspros, do I?
And have you ever bought any tools lately?
Oh,
Where they
not
get those
for a few months.
two moulded halves and they're moulded together,
Yeah.
and you've got to break into it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You always got to use hacksaw, don't you?
Yeah, or an angle grinder.
Angle grinder, yeah. But if you bolt an angle grinder like, you wouldn't be able to open it until we had got an angle
That's
grinder.
right, yeah, that's right.
So I get home with me packet of licorice. I love a licorice, and the bloody thing, of course, I couldn't open it. If you haven't got teeth that don't meet in the middle, you can't bloody well open these packets. So I opened this licorice, love licorice I got from the chemist. And what is it? It's bloody pink licorice, and it tastes like shit. And what have they done to lollies? Bloody minties. I used to love minties, and now you get them in a packet. They're so small they get caught in your bloody hollow tooth. And the same with columbines. I love columbines. They're miniature, and I can't eat the bloody things anymore. They tell you they give you as many in a packet, but there's only half the bloody size, so you only get half a fucking lot of middies anyway. I hate them.
What's happened to the old pen and piece of paper? I've got to say, and I'm the first to admit it, and most people over 40, if they're going to be honest, are, I am technically challenged. No two ways about it. I hate technology. The other day, I went to buy a new 55-inch LED TV. Don't worry about plasma or LCD. LED is the future. Mark my words. Then somebody said to me, "Tim, do you realise at the time, this is a week ago when you bought that TV, you pay for that TV, by the time you got it outside the store, the technology had already been updated." That made me feel just fucking great.
Tell you what really pisses me off, and that's these wanky restaurants who think they're so high and mighty. You know, you go in there, I really get cheesed off going into one of these restaurants. You pay $60 for a perfectly well cooked piece of steak, I'll give you that, but the steak's about the size of a postage stamp, and you get two neatly arranged snow peas, pay $60. What a bloody rip-off. Give me a decent steak, a bloody schnitzel that hangs over the edge of the plate, a pile of chips or some veggies any day, that'll do me. You can stick your wanky restaurants.
The last restaurant, if you remember, we went to, we was asked to pay the bill as we were walking out the door, and we'd already paid it.
Exactly. The training ain't there.
No.
I know a Sheila actually who deems it beneath her dignity to dine in any Tasmanian restaurant because she reckons they're not up to scratch. They're not in her class. They aren't up to scratch, darling. We know what she's scratching, don't we?
Another trend I was going on for quite a while now, and I confess that I am as guilty as anybody else, and that is if you go to a Chinese restaurant, it's imperative that you use chopsticks. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, why can't you use a fork? So, and you have to master them. And with me, they always keep slipping. They always sort of, and it's very, very hard to pick up rice, unless you're used to doing it, with chopsticks. It always sort of falls through the end and everything like that. So I don't know why we feel necessary, feel that it is necessary whenever we eat sort of foreign food, that you have to conform to foreign etiquette in terms of the utensils that you use. I mean, and they tend to frown on you. You go to most Chinese restaurants and the chopsticks are there. I mean, and you really feel like an idiot if you've got to ask for a fork, or let alone, God help us, a knife. So you get it and you open up the chopsticks, out of the little packet, and you persist with them slipping all through your fingers and crisscrossing, and you end up spearing them like that. Particularly if it's something that's got a bit of substance to it, in a lump, not rice. You spear the thing like that, and and then you attach the other chopstick to it, so it'll look like you've actually got the thing connected between the two ends of the stick, but you've actually got it speared on one end, and you put it in your mouth and you try to look sophisticated.
How good are you with the chopsticks, Bobby?
Oh, I can get by with chopsticks, yeah.
But do you do it just to show off?
No, you do it because half the time there's no bloody knives and forks there. It's either that or scoop it up with your hands like Eric Byrne.
Of course, that's the Arabian way, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but which hand? I mean, one hand's for wiping your ass and the other hand's for eating food, and I get mixed up, isn't it? Which one? I mean, I could be stuffed.
And I suppose after thousands of years of so-called civilization, they finally, sometime in the Middle Ages or wherever, came up with the knife and the fork. That's there. It's Western way of eating, and the Asian way of eating is with a couple of twigs. So why should we have to adopt that? I mean, I don't know why a fork isn't just as good for a bowl of rice as a pair of twigs.
Chinese restaurants. Have you ever noticed, especially in the suburban Chinese restaurants, if you're the sort of lot there late at night and you're just, finishing off your bobuck farn or whatever, and the family will come out and eat, one of the cubicles up the back. And there'll be mum and dad and a couple of kids and all sit up there, rabbing it away. And the food will come out, but it's nothing like the food you've eaten.
It's real Chinese stuff.
It's entirely, and it looks good too.
Yeah,
and they're waffling into it. How come we can't get that?
The other, I don't know how many people. Obviously, people eat out, and I go out. Not a lot, but I go out enough. And we go to restaurants these days, and you just know these restaurants. They've been watching or influenced by some TV fucking chef.
Yeah, it's a big problem now. I think we're finding it in Tasmania. They're seeing these chefs. I mean, there's certain styles now, like towers of food.
Well, that's been around for some time, but this business of you get a beautiful steak, a beautiful rump steak. What do? They stick it on a bit of mashed potato. I mean, if two things never ever go together in this world, is mashed potato or sweet potatoes mashed up, or potato and swede all mashed up. God, dear Lord. But everybody's an expert.
Yeah.
Now everybody tastes it, I've not got enough salt in that, I ain't got enough this in that, or, needs a bit more balsamic vinegar on the dressing. Yeah. Everywhere you go, normal people are critics now.
But what about when you see these TV chefs and they wanted one of their chefs is boiling up a great big tub of whatever it is, and they take a little sip out of it, and what do? Needs a bit more seasoning. Put a tiny little pinch of salt in. It's a great big drum of food, and that's okay.
That's fine.
But it's a load of bollocks, isn't it?
I love for breakfast, I love eggs Benedict. That's my favourite. Now, eggs Benedict is supposed to be served on a little croppet sort of thing. These days you go in and what do they give you? They want to give you a slice of Dodger that's about 3 inches thick. It soaks up the egg all right, but God, it's hard to swallow.
Unless you go to a restaurant, I love the food at this restaurant because it's all piled up on top of one another. Whole lot of shit I don't eat and don't even know what it is.
That's just stack, that is.
Yeah, and it's just a little. And now TV programs, MasterChef, whatever. I mean, I enjoy looking at a cooking program, but there's so much bullshit. It just goes way over the top.
But the thing is about these programs they're teaching you a skill that you should have known, decades ago, when we were kids growing up, we all learned how to boil an egg or cook something, a bit of toast. These days, no. So look at that. Oh, look, they put. What's that stuff they're putting on bread? Oh, it's butter. Oh, how come the bread's brown? Oh, they've cooked the bread. Oh, that's toast, that is.
Look, the whole thing is, regardless of whether it's in restaurants or whether it's on television projecting an image, bullshit is number one. That's what you've got to remember. Try to work your way through the bullshit.
The food industry, to me, and I know, I'm only speaking from my experience. The food industry is certainly becoming like the art industry and the wine industry, which is to me self-perpetuating bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, this business with wine critics and art critics, especially more than wine. No doubt there are good wines and there are bad wines.
Yeah.
But when you get them, they get a wine and they go like that, and they go. Oh yeah, I can taste the apricots and the blackberries. I go, it's supposed to be fucking grapes, isn't it? Where are they getting apricots and black? Where are they getting all that from?
I don't know.
You know, and they go, they're sniffing it and all that. That is, it is self-perpetuating crap.
Yeah.
I think most of the wine tasters, the wine experts, they should be artists because the bullshit that comes out of their mouth is an art. How do they think of things like tastes of melon or tastes of acorns or tastes of toasted cheese? Where do they get them from? It's bloody supposed to be wine in there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll give you credit, Maury. You drink shit. I mean, you drink crappy bloody wines, no matter what they are, the cheapest you can get, right?
Yeah, well, at least I've got a standard, haven't I?
Cheap.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's so much bullshit about, you know it still exists with wine to a certain degree, where it's a certain different taste.
Tastes of cigar box.
Yeah, something.
Hint of blackberries.
Yeah.
I can feel something on my back palate.
Yes.
I can feel vomit coming up.
And wine obviously goes hand in hand with your art industry, Mick. And we've seen a bit of that, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's supposed to be art.
Well, you go into these galleries and you see taxpayers' money in art galleries. I'm talking about obviously state-owned art galleries, and there's a picture up there of a green triangle. Now, somebody's got to pay for that to hang on the wall.
Yeah.
A green triangle.
One of the most famous ones that I've seen, it was in the UK, where it was a pile of bricks, and the art gallery paid, I think, the equivalent of over $10,000 for a pile of bricks. And that was quite a few years ago, wasn't it, Keith?
Yeah, but you've got to realise, Mick, it's the way they were put together.
It was a pile of bricks.
Yeah, but no, it's strategically placed and artistically placed. That's what you've got to. Tyres. What about the bloke who built the submarine out of a load of tyres? Remember that?
Yeah, someone burned it down.
Yeah, somebody burned it down. But this is the crap of it all.
Yeah.
Somebody takes their clothes off, puts a canvas on the floor, rolls about in it bollock naked, then rides over it in a bike bollock naked, and and then they go, they hang it up, and then these art critics go, oh yeah, I can see what he's doing there, and give all this artistic interpretation. Load of shit. I'm sorry, it's a load of shit.
Yeah. But we've got to talk about the biggest bullshit industry of them all, which has eclipsed all of them, and that's the water industry, isn't it?
Yes.
Here we have an industry that has persuaded the United States, Europe and now Australia to, rather than drink water out of the tap, which is perfectly acceptable, to drink it out of a bottle by buying it. And you've got, come on Keith, give them a bit of credit. They've done fantastic.
Marketing. No, you've got to admire. I mean, somebody's been out there, either putting the fear of Christ up to somebody to say, don't drink the normal stuff that comes out of your tab. It ain't good enough for you. And look, I will say this story. This did come from the original series of Grumpy Old Men, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And although we are ripping them off a bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
But they were talking about water on there, and one of the blokes got this bottle of water, and it was like Highland spring water, and it really cracked me up because he said this Highland spring water had been filtered down through sedimentary rocks over a 15 million year period into these deep underground springs, and then it pops up again all through the sedimentary rock, and it's one of the purest waters in the world for your consumption. And it's been evolving over this 15 million year period, and he's got it there, and he's right on the bottom of the bottle. He's gone, used by the December the 15th,
If that's not bullshit, I don't know what is.
Exactly right, exactly. But we put up with it.
Yeah, well I don't because I
Yeah.
All of the stuff that's presented, whether it's in the food industry or whatever it is, has to have a bullshit line. And I mean, we do it, we drink water, you know, bottled water. Now, how big a con is that? The water out of the tap's fine, but no, you go and pay $2 and $3 for a bloody bottle of water.